Folks, the battle over the obscene materials, the perverted pornographic books in our schools and in our libraries is still ongoing. It hasn't gone anywhere. And one individual who knows this better than most is our guest today. She was literally sued by the groomer gang because she urged the county commission to remove some of these disgusting books from the children's section at the library. Our guest today here on Conversations That Matter for the New American Magazine is Bonnie Wallace. She's a mother. She's a wife from Llano County in Texas. And back in 2022, she was sued for advising the Llano County Commissioner's Court about some of the disgusting stuff found in the county library. She has had a major victory at the Fifth Circuit this year, but it may not be over yet. But even still, there are some powerful lessons for all of us across this country who do want to protect children, who do want to protect the innocence of our youngest Americans from those who would corrupt them at the earliest possible ages. Bonnie, welcome to the program. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, thanks for having me.
It's an honor and a pleasure. I had the privilege of meeting you in person at an event that was fantastic, and you shared a little bit of your story. So thank you for helping lead this fight in Llano County. Give us some background. How did you find out about these perverted books in the library? What did you see when you went after them, and what did you do when you found out?
Well, I didn't listen right away. So when I talk to people about bad content in the library, I always give them a little bit of grace because I needed some grace myself. I heard about it, but in my mind, the question pops up, how bad could it really be? I mean, this is in children's books. How bad could it really be? And then I saw my first picture. And I could describe it, but I'm not sure I can on your show. And so my hair started on fire, and I started just like nonstop talking about this to everyone who would listen. I went home and I took a picture of that, the picture that I saw, and I wrote a letter, an email to the county judge and commissioners, every pastor I knew in my county, every teacher, every school board member, which were several, just people, parents. And I said, y'all, we have pornography in our library. And that's how it began. That was November of 2021. I was appointed to the Library Advisory Board for Llano County. And that's how ultimately I was sued. Llano County was sued, the judge, all four commissioners, the library director, and four of the library board members, those of us who were most involved and vocal about content that is highly, highly inappropriate for children. And so, but you're right, God uses everything. So he's using this to showcase to other communities, other cities, also schools. This happened in the public library in my town, but immediately, of course, I went into the school library where my daughter had graduated in 2019. She is at medical school now, and so I don't have a student in the public school, but I'm still fighting public school library content as well. Because let me tell you, I have been in over 1,000 libraries, and I'm sad to say I have not found one clean library, not one.
Wow. Amazing. Talk to us about this lawsuit. What were they alleging? What was the basis for them coming after you in this case?
Well, they are 7 adults, and when the library, those 17 books were removed, they were removed from the children's section, eye level on top of bean bags, children's section. They were moved like 30 feet away into the adult section. So the books were not taken out in the backyard and burned. Right? But that's what they always say, that we're book banners and book burners. And they say that we have infringed their First Amendment right. But the Fifth Circuit victory that we had, I'll read a couple of just sentences because it is an excoriating victory for us and condemnation for the other side. This is, of course, only it only reaches Texas, Mississippi, and Louisiana. And so there's more work to be done. But one of my favorite lines, it says, finally, we note with amusement and some dismay the unusually over-caffeinated arguments made in this case. Judging from the rhetoric in the briefs, one would think Llano County had planned to stage a book burning in front of the library. Plaintiffs and the amicus briefs warn of book bans, pyres of burned books, totalitarian regimes, and the Index Librorum Prohibitorum. One amicus intones, where they burn books, they will ultimately burn people. Come on. And then the next line is the best. Take a deep breath, everyone. No one is banning or burning books. If a disappointed patron cannot find a book in the library, he can order it online, buy it from a bookstore, or borrow it from a friend. And this is the most important part, right? Because they want taxpayer dollars to buy this stuff. And so the Fifth Circuit, very common sense, is saying if you don't find something you want in a library, you can buy it on your own with your own dollars. Amazon, bookstores, they name a whole bunch of different places that you can get it. And that's common sense. But as we know, common sense is not so common anymore. The attorney that's defending Llano County and me, he took a case in Colorado, and it's called ACLU versus Elizabeth School District. So a school district in Colorado had courage to take some books out. They took 19 books out. We took 17 books out. But guess what? 6 of those books are the same books. And so he wanted that case desperately because that case will be appealed to the 10th Circuit. And he says the 10th Circuit will rule against the Colorado School District. So what happens then, you have one circuit court that rules one way, one that rules another. He called it a circuit court crisis. And that disparity shoots it right up to the Supreme Court. And they have to hear it to settle the difference. Is it okay to remove a book, or are you gonna go to prison if you remove a book? And so he took that case for the long term. We as conservatives, we usually do short-term bursts of energy and then we forget about it. We stop and we pause. But the other side, they're so zealous for for what they believe in, and they never stop and they never sleep. Neither does Satan. And so we just have to stand and we have to fight, especially to protect the children.
Amen. I couldn't agree with you more. And you have done that more so than almost anybody. Once you found out what was going on in this library, I understand you traveled across the state of Texas. You've spoken with more than, 150 school boards across the state. One of the things that I thought was so interesting is the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, you found out, has a list of over 10,000 books that are prohibited to prisoners, and yet dozens of those books are literally in these public libraries, in sometimes the children's sections of these libraries. I mean, it's truly astounding. And one of the things that we've reported here, actually we had a guest on not that long ago talking about how there's a loophole in Texas law where teachers who rape children, teachers who commit horrific crimes against children, instead of being reported to law enforcement, they can be reported to the teacher credentialing agency. So it sounds like the image that people have of Texas as this like bastion of Christian cowboy conservatism, where this kind of sickness is not tolerated, is maybe needs to be updated a little bit. We've only got about 5 minutes left. Bonnie, what do you recommend that other people do, and why is it so important?
We have to stand. When we hear something that is not appropriate for children, we have to stand. And I always give everybody Joshua 1:9. Most people that I travel around with or speak to, they are Christian people. But Joshua 1:9 says, be strong and courageous. Do not be terrified. Do not be discouraged. The Lord your God goes with you wherever you go. But that's the world's version of it. There's a piece of that scripture that I left off, and you probably know it. But it starts with, have I not commanded you? Mm-hmm. So it's not if I wake up today and I feel courageous, I'm going to go fight. And then tomorrow I may not feel courageous, so I stop fighting. We have to stand. God works through us. He does not need us, but he wants us to partner with him. And so I just encourage everybody, check your school libraries. I can tell you how. Can I give my email and have people email me?
Sure, absolutely, yep.
I love emails because I can answer them, when I have a minute. But my email is so MRS, like Mr. and Mrs. Bob Wallace. My husband's name is Bob. Mrs.Bob Wallace at Reagan.com. and that's Reagan like Ronald Reagan.com. Send me an email. I will show you how to get into your library. I will send you a book list to look for, book reports that I've already read and compiled, like all the excerpts that are very harmful. Listen, I'm talking about, we have books in our schools that have the protagonist having sex with Jesus. 2 books. We have books where the protagonist is having sex with animals, sex with dead bodies, multiple
Children.
sex partners. I have a book that I recently found, and it talks about how to kill your diabetic parents in an indetectable manner so you can get away with murder. And so what I say is, why are we allowing these demonic thoughts to be deposited into the brains of our children? We have to do better, because the other side never sleeps. So we have to understand the battle and go forward. And yes, like the criminal justice list, if a book, 10,800 books, not all of those pertain to my battle. Some of them are topography in Texas. They don't want you to find an old abandoned, mine or something to be able to hide in it if you escape. And so there are other things, how to make weapons, how to make guns, how to make bombs. Technically, the high school students don't need that either, but that's not really what I focus on. But when a book has such graphic illegal sex acts that it cannot be in prisons, why in the world would it be okay for high schools, junior highs, and even elementary schools? So we have to do better. I think that's a big part of it, just knowing about it. Suicide also, there's books that glamorize suicide, how to kill yourself right the first time. Cutting, all kind of stuff our kids are in crisis mode.
Yeah.
Nobody can debate that. Our kids are in crisis mode. I have so many books that have a student, this is in the book, in novels, having sex with their teachers.
Yeah.
Now in Texas, just today, we had 2 teachers arrested. Just today. Almost every single week, we have at least somewhere between 1 to 5 teachers arrested for having an inappropriate sexual relationship with students. Why is our tax dollars buying books about sex with students? My favorite quote from that book is, they're having, this is a 6th grade teacher and a 12-year-old boy, and they're in bed, and she says, honey, when you leave, make sure to go into my briefcase and get the answers to tomorrow's test so you don't fall behind. And I'm thinking, what kind of, hey, 12-year-olds are like, well, I'd like the answers to the next test, right? Because kids do not have the discernment that adults have. Their brains are not fully formed. We need to do a lot better. We're failing.
Yeah, this stuff is demonic. And when you and I met at that event, you were sharing some of the information, and all I could think of is, this just comes straight from the pit of hell. This is almost the kind of stuff in Ephesians 5. It says, it's even shameful to speak of some of these things. They're so wicked. And yet our tax dollars are paying to put this in the hands of children. Children who don't think about these things normally. Children who otherwise would be playing with toy cars or playing with toy dolls and playing tag. Folks, it's an outrage. And frankly, there was a time not that long ago in this country where we recognized it as a criminal act to expose children to obscene material. I think it's time that we go back to enforcing those laws. I think these people need to be arrested. If they want to expose children to this kind of filth, they belong in jail. Bonnie, you gave out your email. Give it one more time. How else can people follow your work? Are you on any of the social media platforms? Where else can people connect with you?
Do not do any social media, because I really like arguing too much. I would never sleep again. And so I don't do any social media, but I do answer every single email. So mrs.bobwallace@reagan.com. And I will tell you one thing that I say to every school board I speak to. I look always for the list of books they have that are prohibited to prisoners, and I look them in the eye and I say, why are the minds of hardened criminals in Texas better protected than the minors in your school district? It's been powerful. But there are books like, there's a book called Push that was made into a movie called Precious. In order to be made into the movie, they had to delete 75% of the sex scenes because it was going to be rated X.
Yep.
So they
Porn,
deleted the
in other
sex
words.
scenes, and now it's rated R, the movie. But guess what? The book is still rated X. in all of our schools. We have to do better.
Yeah, we absolutely do. Bonnie, thank you for leading the charge in Llano County and Texas. I hope people across the country will be inspired by your example. Folks, if we can't even stand up for the innocence of our children, I don't even know what else to say. Bonnie Wallace, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for your efforts. And to you, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. Share this video out, folks. It's not just Texas. It's in Oklahoma. It's in South Carolina. It's in New York. It's in Illinois. It's all over this country. It's filthy. It's evil, and it needs to stop. Go to thenewamerican.com, sign up for a subscription to the magazine, and get involved in the fight. I'm Alex Newman, Senior Editor. Till next time, we appreciate you tuning in here to Conversations That Matter. God bless you all.
Did I nail it, huh? Yeah, did you hear that line I just sold? Man, am I convincing. Yeah, and they think we're unbiased. What? Yeah, what are we spinning next? Hey, what? I'm live? Good evening and welcome to the evening news.
The mainstream media outlets have been exposed. Choose independent journalism. Subscribe to The New American at thenewamerican.com.